In this video, we will analyze all the possible outcomes that the judges will arrive at if they give favorable judgments in any of Peter Obi's prayers. We will also examine the significance of Atiku's reply to Tinubu's preliminary objections to his petition. Let's start with the 25% and the possible outcome. Remember, this is not about checking the legality or the position of the law. It has been discussed in many of our videos. We will just concentrate on the outcome if the judges decide in the positive or negative. What will be the outcome if the tribunal rules that the 25% is required in Abuja? Peter Obi will be the only beneficiary, but this will not lead to him being declared the winner by the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, which takes us to the next one, deciding who won the highest legal votes in the presidential election. This will be the most difficult part of the proceedings because the legal team will need to present a lot of evidence to prove their case, and barring any technicalities, who will be the ultimate beneficiary if the tribunal rules in the positive? Anyone that is able to prove that he won the highest legal votes, including 25% in Abuja, will be the beneficiary. In this case, it is only Peter Obi that can be the beneficiary because he is the only person that got 25% in Abuja. In any case, if the judges feel the evidence is not sufficient, there are two possible outcomes. They will either maintain the status quo by saying that the petitioners couldn't prove their case, or they will order a rerun. Deciding candidates that will participate in the rerun election will be determined by the next prayer, the issue of whether Tinubu was qualified to be on the ballot. If the tribunal delivers judgment in the positive, they will disqualify him. This takes us back to the candidates that will participate in the rerun election, assuming rerun will be the decision of the tribunal. Following a possible outcome of disqualification, all other parties except APC will participate in the rerun election. This section also covers the challenge of double nomination of Shettima. If they prove this in court, it will lead to disqualification of Tinubu. It's a joint ticket anyway. On the other hand, if they do not disqualify any of them, Tinubu will be the only beneficiary. After all, he is the only one with many baggages. More on this in a moment. Let's see the judicial time frame first. There's a judicial deadline for the determination of petitions submitted at the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. Although proceedings may pass this duration, but they try to stay within the time frame. Peter Obi and the Labour Party submitted their petition on 21st March 2023. From the date of submission, the tribunal will have a 180-day deadline to reach a decision. The deadline will fall in September. The parties who want to appeal the judgment will go to the Supreme Court, which has 60 days to reach a verdict. And the 60 days will end in November 2023. Remember that those who will appeal will still need time to file their appeal and serve the other party. It is assumed that all these will come inside the 60-day time frame. But you know how the courts function. These are just deadlines, but the proceedings and final judgment might still take longer. The major work of going through the evidence will be done at the tribunal. Theirs at the Supreme Court is to look at the merits of the appeal and agree or disagree.
44, 45.
Now, back to the possible outcomes of the petition. As you can see from the ones already mentioned, they are the main prayers of the Labour Party. They are praying the tribunal to declare him winner based on that. There's the non-qualification of Tinubu and Shettima, and then there are alternative prayers in case those ones are not granted. In one of the alternative prayers, they asked the tribunal to order a fresh election because of electoral law violations by INEC. This one will be the easiest to prove and very simple for the judges to reach a verdict, but it will still be a very expensive decision and will not guarantee that INEC will conduct a free and fair election. Also, it will possibly deny the rightful winner his mandate. Based on the possible outcome, all candidates will benefit from the verdict. We might need to do a separate video that will show step by step the electoral law violations by INEC. If you want to see that video, drop a comment. If it gets traction, we will consider. Now, let's look at the implication of the new addition that Atiku made to his petition. The non-disclosure of Tinubu's Guinean citizenship in his INEC form, which amounts to perjury. It proves that election petitions can be amended, unlike the speculation of many before. The perjury is not going to be tried by the tribunal. That's not the motive of Atiku's legal team. They just want to prove to the tribunal that Tinubu is dishonest. Also, this is not the first time Tinubu is involved in something like this. When he was governor of Lagos, the schools he claimed to have attended were discovered to be false, and in order to save himself further embarrassment, he claimed he wasn't the one that filled the forms, that it was an error. So Atiku's legal team can capitalize on this to prove that it has become a pattern for Tinubu, that it can never be an error. Yes, when you do it for the first time and the second time, it can be a mistake. They will link this to show that the person is dishonest and can't be trusted, which will damage whatever evidence he will bring to court to counter what the petitioners will present. Also, there's another potential perjury, although not included by the petitioners. It was revealed that the certificate he submitted along with his INEC forms is not the exact replica that the university issued, that the certificate was designed online using websites that offer certificate templates. You know, he claimed that he lost all his certificates when the military raided his house, but that's not an excuse to forge a certificate even if he owns it. It's still forgery. Why not apply to the university to issuing him another one? Maybe it's because he cannot, as David Hundeyin revealed, that the school records with the name Bola Tinubu is associated with a female gender. More details in the video on the top right corner in case you haven't heard about it, or you can get the link in the video description. When you look at the entire petition and the stack of evidence against Tinubu, not just based on his qualification and his person, but also the election itself, which fell short of Nigeria's own standards, you will think the case is a very watertight one, that there's no way the election will stand. But you can never tell with the courts. Not that all judges are willing to compromise. No, not at all. All judges are not the same. In fact, among the 5 judges that will preside over the matter, there are some that will never compromise, no matter the intimidation. And these judges might now be under serious pressure after being named. So intimidation might come into play to make some to give favorable opinion. And since they are 5 in number, a majority of 3 is required to pass the judgment. In case of a tie of 2-2, then the president of the Court of Appeal will separate the tie. Some judges have suffered one form of intimidation or the other in the past when they passed judgment that some felt was against them. The judges were quickly transferred for no reason. They will not talk about it because they take it as what comes with doing the job in an environment like ours. Most judges just want to do their jobs without influence and attain the highest possible level in their career before retiring. It is mostly people that corrupt judges and try to make offers. A judge can never ask someone for a bribe because he or she knows the implication. What if they record the event? Seriously, reforms are needed. Politicians shouldn't be the ones appointing judges. It's time we started electing judges and attorneys general. A complete independence of the judiciary arm is needed. Even the National Judicial Council will need some reforms too. Checks and balances are the surest way of building a nation where justice, equity, fairness will thrive. People who have powers to transfer judges should lose that power. Judges and policemen should not be transferred to other locations. They should not be worrying about the safety of their jobs when dispensing justice. If we remove ways a judge can be intimidated into doing the wrong thing, then the judge will always dispense justice the way it's supposed to be. Remember, before they tried the intimidation tactics, the judge must have rebuffed monetary influence. Otherwise, why would they need to intimidate someone who willingly accepted bribe? Anyway, Nigerians are watching as the first hearing has now been fixed to start on the 10th of May 2023. May all the judges involved in all the election tribunals be obedient to only the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and not any human being at all.